name is Emily Favreau. I'm a senior in Amadon from Manchester, New Hampshire. This past summer, I worked with the Norton Fellows to create a project to serve the common good in my community at home. I chose to work closely with a pre-existing organization with which I am closely associated. I worked with the Children's Hospital at Dartmouth, or CHAD, which is located within Dartmouth Hospital in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Before I talk about what I did for the CHAD community, I would like to explain why this organization is so important to me. In the fall of 2008, I was playing with my friends in the woods when my entire life changed. We went in search of a cat and ended at a rocky ledge behind my friend's house. While standing on the edge talking with my friend, the rock wiggled and I fell backwards 15 feet, hitting my head on the rocks below. Emergency personnel arrived and I was taken to the local hospital, where doctors quickly realized they did not have the means to treat me. I was internally bleeding and the pressure was beginning to build between my brain and my skull. They airlifted me to Dartmouth Hospital, where I had emergency brain surgery. After my surgery, the doctors did not know if or when I would regain consciousness. There was also a question as to whether or not I would mentally be the same again. 3 days after my surgery, I woke up in the ICU, confused and in pain. This is a picture of me in the ICU. I don't remember much from that time, for I had a major concussion and I was only in the ICU for a week. But I do remember getting transported to the CHAD unit after the doctors and nurses cleared me from any immediate danger. The Children's Hospital is bright, happy, and warm. The nurses were dressed in bright colors, the walls were painted all the colors of the rainbow. There were daily activities, games, movies, and right down to the color of the Band-Aids, the Children's Hospital did all they could to make us feel at ease. In the ICU, I recovered physically, but the CHAD unit healed me emotionally. I don't know if I would be where I am today without the help of the wonderful doctors and nurses at CHAD. I remember the day I left. I was excited to go home and see my friends. I knew I still had a long road ahead of me, but eventually, because of this wonderful place, I knew I was going to be okay. In the top corner, that's a picture of me and my grandmother with hermit crabs, not long after I returned home. You can still see the bruising around my face. My mom had promised me a dog when I was still in a coma. She promised me a lot of things, but she told me that if I woke up, if I made it through, she would buy me a dog. After returning home from being in the hospital and still having many obstacles to overcome before I was completely better, she and my dad decided that we would get a dog someday, but until then, they bought me hermit crabs. Once I returned home, I believed I was better and I could do all the things that I used to. My parents held me back, but I insisted that I got to go trick-or-treating. I think it was 4 or 5 days after I returned home. I was mad because they didn't let me run around and take on the entire neighborhood. But they held me back. Granted, it was probably a good thing, because underneath my Laura Ingalls Wilder bonnet, my hair was parted to one side and the scar that runs down the back of my head still had the stitching that was holding my skull together. I wore hats for months to hide the scar. I was not allowed to swim. I often questioned if I would ever get back to being normal again. As time went on, all of my restrictions began to taper off, but my experience stuck with me. I volunteered for CHAD not long after my accident, speaking and working at various fundraising events, because I realized that I needed to give the children in the hospital the same opportunities for improvement that I had. CHAD is a purely donation-run organization, meaning all the colors, all the games, all the specialized nurses, all the things that helped me overcome my experience comes from generous people understanding the importance of this organization. This is why I chose to work with CHAD through the Norton Fellows. I, like many CHAD patients, used to be a CHAD buddy, meaning I was paired with fundraisers to share my experience to actually show where the money goes and what it does. Because of the Norton Fellows, I became a leader for one of these events. I organized a field day for the buddies and their partners to participate in and get to know each other. It was a very successful event, and I loved having the opportunity to see this experience that I had had from a different angle. After this event, I actually went back to the hospital, and I worked with current patients on arts and crafts activities between their appointments. It was one of the most rewarding experiences I have ever had. I loved being able to go back, and I loved that I could help brighten these children's day even just a little. Every little bit makes a huge difference, I remember. I want to thank the Norton Fellows for giving me this opportunity, and I want to reach out to all of you now and say that if you have a story or a passion that could help the common good, apply for a grant from the Norton Fellows. Try to make a difference. You don't know how much you can impact your community until you actually do it. Thank you.
So before I begin, I would like to play a little game with all of you, and I will need all of your help, meaning every single person in this room. Are you guys ready for that? Yeah. All right. So we're going to divide. Thank you. We're going to divide this group into 3 parts. So the first group, if you are on this part and the first 2 aisles, can you raise your hand, please? All right. You guys are going to be group 1. If you're in this middle block and that aisle, can you raise your hand, please? You're going to be group 2. And the rest of you, the seniors, as well as the last aisle, raise your hand, please. You're going to be the group 3. Okay, so here's how the game's going to work. I'm going to point to you, and whenever I point to you, you're going to make a certain sound that I will assign you. So here's how it goes. So this for group 1, your sound is going to be boo. Can you do that? Boo. Boo. There you go. And the second group. Okay, wait for this. Okay, second group, your sound is going to be t. Beautiful. Can we try it? Can we try it? Okay, we're gonna try it on 1 beat. So I'm gonna point to you, and you're gonna make the sound. All right? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. All right. And you probably guessed what your group 3, your sound is going to be. Ready? All right. All right. So let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Okay. So now I'm gonna tell you the pattern that we're going to do. Thank you. We're gonna do a pattern that's 1, 2, 3, 2. This 4-number pattern. Can we try that? Okay. So we're gonna do like a tryout round. So I'm gonna point to you. You're gonna make your assigned sound. All right? So I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, go. Boo. Boo. That's amazing. Give a round of applause for yourself. That's amazing. All right. That's really good. Okay, so now we're going to try to make it a little bit faster. And we're going to throw some distraction in the mix. Do you think you can keep the beat still? Yeah. All right, let's try it. So here's the beat. So it's okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 2. Ready? And this time you're going to keep going. I'm going to start pointing and then you're going to keep going, okay? 1, 2, 3, go. Keep going. Oops, I did it again. I played with your heart, got lost in the game. Oh baby, baby, whoops, you think I'm in love, that I'm sent from above. I'm not that innocent. Keep going. For when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. That was amazing. Give a round of applause for yourself. All right. I'm gonna be honest though, I was very nervous before I did this experiment, but you guys just did an amazing job. So, thank you. Okay, so that was pretty fun. And even if I think it was 3 minutes, right? Even in 3 minutes, we as a school could make music together. Wow. You might think, okay, this is like not music. Music is a lot fancier than that. You have to go into Harvard to make music. But indeed, we were making rhythm. You know, the boots. That rhythm, what you just made, is a part of music. And it's actually the foundation of many tunes that we can hear in our lives, just as I did. So that was a kind of, and also you guys did an amazing job by focusing on me and to follow the same beat together, even in this huge assembly hall. So that's the sense of unity that I first felt when I walked into my first rehearsal in the Beijing Philharmonic Chorus when I was at the age of 5. So the choir was singing a major chord called Fa La Do. So it's a really beautiful sound, and when I sit down, my 5-year-old self opened my mouth, and I was stunned because for the first time I couldn't hear my voice in the choir. All I can hear is this major chord that as if it's coming out of my own mouth. And the more unreal thing is that when the conductor lowered the alto note for half a note, that the sound just suddenly became lighter. And it sounds a little bit sad, a lot more melancholy, and I was just so amazed that one single note can change the tune and the color, the emotions behind the music. So since then, this place has been my escape for my refuge amidst all the afternoon classes, meeting people at school, math competitions, and all the things that elementary school students will worry about. So every Sunday I would run down the stairs, so excited to go to the Conservatory of Music, so that I can sing with other elementary school students who also love music. And there, I don't have to care about people at school. I don't have to care about what grade I get. All I can care about is music, is friends. And it's just so beautiful, and I love it. So, and as I grew up, I slowly became recognized how valuable this choir experience was for me. Because in order for a choir to sound good, it can't just be relying on one person, as you can all know. You have to listen to each other. As group 1, group 2, you have to listen to group 3 to know where you come in. And so that the choir has to listen to different parts in order for the sound and rhythm to go together. I remember as a soprano, I can't be too loud. I have to look at my conductor to know, okay, now it's the alto's melody. I have to listen to the basses. I have to listen to the tenors, where their notes are, so that I can find my place in this choir. So when I get into high school, one of my friends on their plane ride to Italy said, "Hey, Lily, why are you still in choir? You should probably try something else, like sing solos or do recitals, and more importantly, to stand out." But to me, singing the choir is not just hiding behind the curtains and following the crowd. It's more about being a good team member. I know that for a choir, I must listen to other parts. So I use this lesson, I use this patience that I have developed in other parts of my life. So with my beloved acapellicans, I have to blend the loud and quiet voices, so that I have to encourage them to listen to others who might be so different from them, in order for them to sound good, to sound as a cohesive community. In the log, I have to combine voices from not only writers who rooted for political correctness, but also those who asked for fewer trigger warnings. And more importantly, when I listen to voices, even from some of my best friends whom I might disagree, I train my ears to listen to those sharp sounds that might be so different from mine. I listen to them, even though they might be different from me, even though it might be discordant, so that we can find that common beat, the common beat that we together created in the beatboxing pattern, so that I can connect those different tunes to mine. Differences makes us bond. Different opinions, religious beliefs, political stance, and a different perception of the same things we see in this world. No matter would it be a gender, race, government, and most of all, art. It's the emotion behind art, the love, the sadness, the gratefulness, the peace that bond us together, that create bridges to transcend languages, culture, space, and even time. It's the common beat that can connect even the most discordant tunes. I have certainly learned from countless encounters, from impromptu jamming, humming, and playing music with others, that I realized music opened doors and connected me to those whose paths I'll never imagine to cross. So I encourage you to find that common beat in your life, be it soccer, be it sports, debate, art, or even playing crickets. To listen to others, to find your place in a team, and to make new connections around relations. It not only connects you to others, but also, trust me, to yourself, to provide some place where you can always fall back to at all times. The power of a harmony stems not only from its melody, it originates from the rich layer of basses that one can fall back to at all times. The connecting altos and tenors that bridge the gaps between highs and lows, and most importantly, the colorful solo that elicits excitement. I think you agree with me that choruses stand stronger than soloists, and even in a sometimes cacophonous world, we can always seek to make peace with the clashing cores. Thank you.